Fairy folk are types of mythical beings found in folklore in all parts of the world. Leprechauns are known to be one of the fairy folk from Celtic cultures. They are known to be tricksters in most stories that you hear. Yes, you have to be very, very clever to outwit a leprechaun. In today's story, you'll be meeting Brody, the farmer whose luck changed. Or did it? On a very lovely evening, Brody was on his way home from working in the field. He was tired and hungry and trying to get home as quickly as he could to quiet his growling stomach. As he was walking through the forest, he thought he could hear a sound. A tapping noise? He immediately thought to himself, I must be hungrier than usual. My stomach is starting to get angry. So Brody quickened his pace, knowing that he had a hearty rabbit stew waiting for him at home. The noises started to get a little louder. No, that can't be my stomach. Wait a minute. Could it be? Has my luck changed? Quietly, Brody started to sneak towards the direction of the tapping noises. He slowly peeked behind a large oak tree, and he couldn't believe his eyes. Sitting there on a very small stool was a very small leprechaun, dressed in emerald green clothing and a brown leather apron. In his hand was a miniature hammer, and he was tapping at the sole of a shoe. He knew that he could not take his eyes off the leprechaun, for they were known to disappear just like that. Brody could not lose this opportunity to get his gold. One thing you should know at this point is that if you were to catch a leprechaun, he absolutely must share with you where he hides his gold. And they all have a hidden stash of gold. Now back to the story. Brody quickly snatched up the leprechaun by the back of his shirt. The little fairy started kicking and screaming, "Put me down, you big brute!" "Oh, I'll put you down as soon as you show me your gold," Brody quickly replied in a very excited manner. "Gold? Gold? Do you see any gold?" sputtered the leprechaun. "Of course I don't see your gold. Everybody knows that a leprechaun hides their gold," scolded Brody. "I also know that if you are caught, you have to tell me where it's hidden." Brody proudly informed the little man and emphasized it with a shake of his hand. Calmly, the leprechaun gave in. Okay. I'll show you my gold. Now put me down and follow me." "What do you take me for, a fool?" laughed Brody. "I know that if I put you down, you will disappear as quickly as I can say St. Patrick." "No, sir, I will not be putting you down. Now tell me where to go." The leprechaun led the farmer through the forest, across a boggy marsh, and through a stream. Brody was now extremely hungry, and his boots were sopping wet. Finally, the wee little leprechaun stopped Brody in front of a bush that was in the middle of a meadow covered in bushes. Hundreds and hundreds of bushes. "Right here, under this rhododendron bush you will find my pot of gold. Now let me go, demanded the leprechaun. Oh dear, thought the farmer. I don't have anything to dig with. Feeling clever, he quickly untied his red handkerchief and he looped the handkerchief around one of the branches. Let me go, demanded the leprechaun as he began to squirm. Brody knew he could not hold him much longer as his arm was getting very tired, and he had to move quickly in order to get home to get the shovel and get back to the meadow before sundown. Feeling confident that he had outsmarted the little man, he agreed to let him go under one condition. I will let you go as long as you promise not to touch this handkerchief. I also need to tell you that a leprechaun must keep his promise. Why would I want to be touching your smelly old kerchief? Answered the fairy. And with that, Brody released the wee little leprechaun. Somewhere off in the distance, he heard a faint, Enjoy your gold! And poof, he was gone. Brody quickly hurried home to fetch his shovel, and he ran back through the forest, across the boggy marsh, and through the stream. And as he was approaching the meadow, he started to daydream about how he would spend this gold. First, he would build a bigger cottage. Then he would purchase some fancy horses and a carriage. And after that, he would be ready to find himself a bride. Then he was going to... Just as the meadow came into view, he stopped and stared in a state of disbelief. Every single bush had a red handkerchief tied to a branch. Hundreds and hundreds of red kerchiefs could be seen. It would take weeks, no, months, to dig under every bush. Unfortunately, this was time that Brody did not have, for he had to be back at the farm by sunrise the next morning. Poor Brody. He never saw the leprechaun again, nor could he ever wear a red kerchief around his neck. For every time he saw one, he was forced to remember the time he almost found the leprechaun's gold.